Everybody, welcome to the Glide Slope. I am excited about today's flight. It's one I've been thinking about for a couple of days, and we are continuing the point-to-point series. We are in Dutch John, Utah, just at the mouth of at the point of the Flaming Gorge Dam, where Flaming Gorge Reservoir in Utah and Wyoming is created by the Green River. Great stretch of trout stream here, by the way. And we're going to fly to Wayne Wonderland, which is 38U on the charts, just outside of Bicknell and Loa and Lyman, Utah. It's on the west side of Capitol Reef National Park. We're going to kind of do some pilotage to get over the edge of the Uinta Mountains, heading due south toward Vernal. Then we're going to make a bit of a turn and head toward the Duchesne VOR. In fact, we can probably go direct to the Price VOR there if it is has the distance to transmit over the mountains, but if not, then we'll go on to the Price VOR, and then we'll fly down. We'll make our way between Thousand Lake Mountain and Fish Lake Mountain, and make our way on to Wayne Wonderland. I've designed scenery for Wayne Wonderland for this, and designed the scenery for Dutch John as well. They're both default object sceneries. They should be in the gateway for download once they're approved. And some other things I've done. I downloaded Zoom Level 17 scenery for the trip, so I'm looking forward to seeing that. I've also got a new main display, flight display here, running an air manager that I like. It's showing me engine temps and stuff in a way that I think is cool and looks good. And then I've got the X-Plane 430 over here, and I've actually configured the potentiometers on this flight instrument panel to turn the dials. So I'm going to try to use the GPS from default X-Plane for the first time today. So a lot going on, and we'll get things fired up and then be ready to go. Okay, so we've got the 430 up and running. We're going to try to enter a flight plan here. So we will cursor, and we will go first to our first stop is going to be the Mighton VOR outside of Roosevelt. So that is MTU M T U Mito Columbia. Press enter for dupes. Oh, we want the VOR in the US Southwest. Okay, then our next one is going to be okay, so we look good. Let's save the flight plan just in case. And activate leg. Yep. All right. Cool. All right. Take a while to mess with that. Now in the Saratoga, it has the 430, but if I'm flying the Cessna, I'll actually put the 530 on that and do the same thing. Eventually, hopefully, the GTX 750 will be able to disconnect. I'll be able to drag it over and do everything touchscreen again, but for now, if I want a GPS, it's good to know that I've got that one running there in case I need it. Let me see. What else do we need to do? I don't think there's anything else we need to do except get ready to go. There's no ATIS. So just looking at the windsock over there, I think we're going to take off going that away. I'm not sure. Should we do pilot edge? Yeah, let's at least listen in.
Connected to pilot edge.
You can connect to pilot edge with 5 clicks of your push to talk switch. Dutch John ATIS is 122.9. We're on that. Okay, well, I'm going to program in some VORs as backup and stuff for a second, and then we'll be off. All right. I've decided not to go with pilot edge on this flight, so we're just going to get going. We would have announced that we're making a back taxi, however. We're basically going to take off and make a departure to the south. That'll be more scenic regardless. I actually took the time to lay out all these stripes on this runway. It's sort of a unique runway. A lot of these bush runways are like that. They've got non-traditional, non-standard markings, and X-Plane doesn't really render them very realistically. They make them look like big airports rather than little ones. So when I have the time, I don't put any markings on the airport, and I actually use the texture to make the center lines, and in this case, the numerals. In this case, for number 11. As you can see. Okay, let's see if we can make this turn here. Got a sloped runway here. That's cool too. Okay, we would tell them that we're departing runway 11. And we're going to be making a departure to the south. First heading is going to be about 180. Okay, landing lights are on, strobes are on. Full power. I love the sloped runways in X-Plane. All right, rotation speed. Gear up. And we're right over the gorge, as you can see. That is cool. All right. I've fished that river in the real world. All right. Okay, making our climb out of here. There goes the airport. There's Flaming Gorge Reservoir off to our right. We're going to go up to 10.5 on this flight. And just as a backup to the GPS, it's interesting, it's not giving me bearings. Wonder why. Yeah, I want to go to Mighton. Well, not sure. All right, well, regardless, we want to head south, not west. And if we're looking for that localizer, we want it to be 216, give or take. Yeah, it's giving me ground speed and it's giving me track and estimated time, but it's not giving me estimated time, so I don't know, maybe I needed to put in my first location. I'll have to learn how to use that thing. Doesn't look like it's got any waypoints on its map either. So maybe I don't have the data updated or plugged in or ready to go or something. All right, Uinta Mountains are off to our right. We're just on the shelf of them. We're all the way up at 12,000 feet, which is much higher than we would need to be in the real world. I must be distracted. So we will drop some altitude and we follow this road and these power lines south. And they'll take us to our intercept just down by this lake up here by Vernal, Utah. Trim wheel just woke up. Yeah, I'm going to go back to the good old VOR. We're going to abandon the GPS until I can figure out how that works. Lean ourselves. So one of the main reasons I switched over to this flight display is it gives me both manifold pressure and RPM, which is something that I wanted. Also gives me fuel flow, fuel levels, oil pressure, oil temp. I've got a backup landing gear display on here as well as a backup altimeter and backup a backup attitude indicator. Okay, here's the reservoir. Our needle's starting to come in. And then we're going to fly heading of about 216. So let's get that ready. I like hand flying better than using the GPS anyway. Well, the autopilot. See if it reads my frequency changes here. Yep, reads that, no problem. It's just not reading the position right for some reason. So we'll get that figured out. Yep, so this road comes in just on this side of this little lake. That's Red Fleet Reservoir. Zoom level 17 is looking great. Nice canyon over there on the right. And then that's Steneker Reservoir in front of that. This is dinosaur country down here, Price, Utah, or Vernal, Utah, known for the significant number of dinosaur deposits and dinosaur bone findings in the area. I'm not being very focused on my altitude today, sort of flying like an amateur. Yeah, that's not showing me anything there. It says we're active to MTU. Activate. Interesting. Okay, we're flying directly at Vernal Airport. I can see it right in front of us. We're coming to our glide slope here. Vernal's an obvious visual waypoint for us. We're getting back to our desired altitude. Now we can start to turn on heading up here. Go, that's pretty good. This clearly has me confused. Well, I put it on my OBS, it makes that work. So it looks like it's reading the track, it's just not giving me any of the data. Sorry to have you guys watch as I try to figure this out. Clearly I would not try to figure this out in a real airplane. That would be stupido. There we go. Keep going direct to Maitan. Shouldn't be long. It's only, looks like about 20 miles. So I did it just for the heck of it. Faint, but I can hear it. Go. All right. We are over the flatlands of Utah. You can start to see the channels cut by the Green River over there on the left. in the distance, the canyons. It eventually joins the Colorado, goes down through Lake Powell, Grand Canyon. Not much of the way in winds here, 350 at 2 knots. Couple stutters there, looks like maybe we're loading up some new weather. Somebody had suggested I go with default weather on this flight, so next flight, so maybe that's what I'll do. Let's give it a shot. Okay, we've updated to default weather, turned off X-Enviro. Things seem to look just fine. If you've watched future videos, you know that I've sort of fallen out of love with the default weather because it seems to reload everything every 15 minutes and reload all the clouds. There's no smooth transitions, but somebody told me that if I turned off the plugins like NOAA, which I thought was meant to give me smooth transitions, it actually fixes that. So I don't know what the facts are. What I do know is I want to get the AWAS from Roosevelt Airport on 118.975 and get a current altimeter reading. Right, we don't seem to have that. So let's see if we get vernal on 135.175.
Vernal weather. Wind 230 at 8. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 11. Dew point -4. Altimeter 3022.
Okay, that seems fine.
Vernal weather. Wind 230 at 8.
Alright, I just did a quick frame rate check. We're getting about 30 frames. I've got everything maxed out on the number of auto-gen. My graphics settings are not. I turned the anti-aliasing down if ever I'm getting some frame problems. It still looks fine to me. Give us a little more manifold pressure here, get us there a little faster. Cool, I watched the amperage and the voltage change, or the amperage change when I turned off the lights. That's a cool feature. It's not a feature, it's just an airplane working the way an airplane's supposed to work. I'm all over the place. Didn't get a lot of sleep last night. I was actually supposed to fly today. Let's see, what is that airport? That should be Roosevelt Airport, right down there. Give you guys a look. You can see it. That's the town of Roosevelt, Utah. So that means we're about where we're supposed to be. And we've got Starvation Reservoir up here. Now I'm up to 12,000 feet. I'll just let go and let the airplane fly itself for a minute. I do feel like the front screen is a little out of focus. I don't know if maybe I knocked the projector. But let's take a second to find out. Yeah, it was a little out of focus. I sharpened it up. I also cleaned off my glasses. That helped. All right, we're coming close to this VOR now. Only 10 miles out from it, if that. So most of this land out here is native reservation. You can see just the edge of the Uinta Mountains really in their earnest over to the right, as well as the Roosevelt Field is now starting to slide into view. Looks like it's 3D, which is good. And the Uintas are big mountains. They top out at 12.3, 13.2 actually. Kings Peak is the highest at 13.5. So you're getting close to 14,000 feet. That's a big mountain. And they run east-west as opposed to north-south. I think only the second mountain range in the Western Hemisphere in North America to do that, other than the Brooks Range in Alaska. Okay, once we're past this, we're going to track a new radial into Price. That is going to be about the 212 radial. We might as well do that now. Price. Carbon VOR is 115.5. And it says it's the 027 radial, so we can put 027 on the tail. And again, we're flying that heading. About 208. Might dent that. Yep, that's the right one. Just for the heck of it, we might as well. So we're just sort of having a relaxed flight today. We're not really paying much attention to altitudes and stuff, but that's not good. It's not a good habit to build, so we're going to get back in the game here. Coming over the West Tavaputs Plateau here. I think that's Lake Boreham right down there. See if it's got a dam at the head of it. Yep. All right, we are on our heading, on our radial, I'm sorry. There we go. .176 at 4 knots headwind, so it's telling us to fly a course 205. That's what we'll do, give or take. Not a lot of places to go here. We might be able to turn around and get to Duchesne. Duchesne is a town that's right out there. It's got a little airport, notable for the Strawberry River that flows out of there. Also, some pretty spectacular trout fishing. In the real world, up here at 13,000 feet, we would be sucking down oxygen like it was going out of style. Let's check prices, see if we get prices weather.
Carbon co-weather. Wind light and variable. Visibility 10. Sky clear. Temperature 11. Dew point -9. Altimeter 3021.
Okay. Altimeter is about the same. Let's see how close that is to the real MEDAR.
Carbon co-weather. Wind light and variable.
Yep.
Visibility 10. Sky clear. Temperature 11. Dew point -9. Altimeter 3021.
Yeah, that's very close. The actual MEDAR was updated just 15 minutes ago, so that's actually pretty accurate. Get ourselves down to 10.5.
Carbon co-weather. Wind light and variable.
Highest point we're going to go over the Tavaputs Plateau is 9.3. So at 10.5 we should have at least 1,000 feet of clearance. It's not a place where you want something bad to happen. There are no good options now at this point. Maybe a road, but if you got to put down here, you're probably saying your prayers. And once we get the price, that is a airport that I've designed scenery for. Both in the gateway now, I just uploaded it the other day, as well as some custom scenery, which is on the website if you want it. Over Ortho, it looks great. I worked pretty hard to make it accurate, and the gateway scenery looks good too. It just doesn't have things like hangars that really look like the ones that you would see in the real world. The zoom level 17 looks good. I'm not noticing a huge performance hit. I'm running about 30 frames. But over Utah, which is where I love to fly more than anything else in the sim, I wanted to make sure that I had better scenery, so it sure took a lot longer to download those tiles, though. I have to say, for the time, storage, and visual quality, I think there's no reason to use zone level 17 most of the time. I think you run zone level 16, and then pretty good stutter there. I'll talk about why that might be in a second. I think you run zone level 16 and then you have it make zone level 18 around any airport, 3 miles around in a circle any airport that you would be flying into. Then when you're low and slow, you'd have a real high quality image. Why that stutter? Could be weather. Also, I just took the all my custom scenery and moved it onto an external hard drive, a 4 terabyte drive that I had sitting around. And it may be that it accesses it a bit more slowly than it does, well, I know it accesses it more slowly than it did an internal solid state drive, but my solid state drive was starting to get pretty full. So with Ortho 4XP, it's really easy to create symbolic links. It will if you go into the global map on Ortho 4XP and you click on any tile that you've burned that's in that Ortho 4XP folder, and you control click on it, it will turn it dark blue, and if you have already put in your in the configuration the pointer to your custom scenery folder, it will then put a symbolic link in your custom scenery folder. So X-Plane will read an external location for all that scenery. And that makes it easier to have a lot of data stored off-site someplace else from your main hard drive. In the fall, the aspen trees in Utah, the quaking aspen, turn gold and orange and yellow, and the photo scenery has that down here, which is pretty cool. Boy, those stutters are terrible. If that's what having that on that external hard drive is going to get me, though, I can tell you I'm going to move everything over back onto the solid state drive, because I don't want to have to put up with that. If you can just look out the right window there for a second, you'll see some of those trees. The aspen. That looks sweet. It's only the Ortho scenery that I moved over. I didn't move over anything else. This looks like the PC is doing something else. This is what it does when Windows decides it wants to download something in the middle of a flight session. I also switched this on and toggled it to be game mode, and maybe that has something to do with it also. You would think it would improve the performance. The frames have been good, but that stutter was not what I want to see. So we'll see if it sticks with it. This is a part of Utah nobody ever gets to. The Tavaputs Plateau is remote. A couple of ranches, some dirt roads, this creek that runs through the center of it, and other than that, you are in the middle of nowhere up here. Yeah, it's nice. I can see some trees with fall colors on them in the Ortho scenery. That looks great. Cool. Pretty amazing stuff we have at our disposal, just to either learn or have fun, you know, when you really think about it. It's pretty remarkable. Okay, price. We are coming up to price. I took an intercept there to rejoin our heading and the appropriate course. Now that we've got our indicator back, we'll turn back toward the right direction. Our CDI has deflected a little bit. There we go. Besides, it's kind of fun to do just some lazy turns in the airplane. Straight and level all the time is, you know, straight and level all the time. All right, so we come over the edge here. We're coming over the plateau. Then we drop down into this valley that has Price, Utah in it. This is coal country. You head south, and you go into the national parks. You head north, and you go into the Uinta Mountains or Salt Lake City, depending on what direction you take. Ground speed's 209, that's pretty good. We're back down to more appropriate altitude. We're getting closer and closer to the VOR here. We're only 10 miles out, so smaller changes to correct your deflection on your needle. Wow, some pretty cool scenery off to the left there. The cliffs. Those cliffs run most of the way down toward Canyonlands. That's a great little airport. Right off the plateau and over the desert. Flying out of Price, we're going to fly on the .198 radial. Just confirm that. Yep. 198 out of here once we intercept the VOR. There's another stutter. I can see the Carbon County Airport down here to our, well, just off the cowling right here. And the VOR just sits at the south end of that field. So we'll pass a beam it, and we'll get ready to fly out on the, what did I say again, 198? I didn't even do a flight log for today. Yeah, it looks like 198. Okay. Well, no time like the present. Let's get the Price weather one more time.
Carbon co-weather. Wind 180 at 5. Visibility 10. Sky clear. Temperature 12. Dew point -9. Altimeter 3019.
There we go. And in real world it is, let's see.
Carbon co-weather. Wind 180 at 5. Visibility 10. Sky clear. Temperature 12. Dew point -9. Altimeter 3019.
Yeah, still reading 17 in the real world. Okay, Price Airport, Price, Utah. See if we can go wings down here and see the. There's the airport going by.
Visibility 10. Sky clear. Temperature 12. Dew point -9.
Yeah, it looks pretty good, especially with the photorealistic scenery underneath it. And the hangars. Multiple textures. All right, looks good. Price High School off to their Carbon High, off to the right. this track. We come to our needle. We follow this road in front of us here for a little ways. Follow this road in front of us for a little ways. It'll take us to Huntington. There's a little airport there. Switch tanks, fuel pump on. Are they still working? Fuel pump off. Yeah, so I was supposed to fly today in the real world, but the weather here is bad. I was going to be doing my third solo, which is maneuvers. So my personal minimums are pretty high, but even if my personal minimums were low, I don't think we would have done that today because the weather here is bad. It's raining, broken at 1300. No, it's just not. You need a ceiling of 4,000 or 5,000 feet to do maneuvers because you're up there about 3,000. So it goes. And the good news is I've got another one planned in a couple of days, and hopefully that will go off without any postponement. Well, these new ortho tiles I burned are just great. I wasn't quite sure the source for a lot of the Utah scenery I had before I had been gifted, and it was great. But it wouldn't always match up perfectly with other scenery, other tiles I'd made, so I just moved a lot of it off to another directory and burned some new tiles today, again all at zoom level 17. I've also have noticed that my performance in Southern California is not good, and I think that also is because of the zoom levels. I think they're too high. Alright, I think we're coming up across Huntington here. That would be, if I'm doing dead reckoning and pilotage, that would be dead reckoning. It would be about 6 minutes and 16 miles south of Price VOR, and that's what's coming up here. So that's good. We're going a little bit faster than what I have plugged in here to the flight plan in ForeFlight. We're actually doing a true airspeed closer to 184. That significantly shortens up our time en route. Creeping up in altitude a little bit again today. Boy, it's clear here in real world weather today. So this has taken some time to get used to. I mean, it was the Avidyne before, and it was very simple. I had some engine instruments over here, but not all the SciTech engine instruments are reading correctly. And this is an Air Manager set of instruments that I pulled together. This would be the G5 with the HSI underneath it, and then the Garmin G5. And then usually there's a backup steam gauges, so we've got a couple of those. And then this nice little engine pack is reading correct data, including cylinder head temperatures. So if I wanted to really get finicky about my mixture. I can take my engine gas temperature, my exhaust gas temperature, and my cylinder head temperature, and lean it back, well, or go to where it's peak and then run just lean of peak. So there they're going down. There my EGT is 475. Cylinder head temperature is 636. I run full rich. My cylinder head temperature is about varying between 650 and 630. If I bring it back, runs a little hotter. And it starts to run a little cooler again. There we go. It's a little richer of that. Prop off to about 2400. I'll have to read up on the Saratoga and find out where it really performs best in terms of all those things. Okay, another little town coming up here. This would be Castledale. San Rafael River runs through there, and coming up on our left is the the San Rafael Swell and the San Rafael Reef. Pretty amazing parts of the world. Another stutter. Gonna have to figure out an experiment for what that is. I think it's Windows doing things, personally, because X-Plane has not had any of those problems for me. But we'll find out. We continue along the edge of these hills until eventually we're going to come to a couple of big ones, and we're going to split the difference between them. 1000 Lake Mountain is 1103, sorry, and then Fish Lake Mountain is 11.5. But there's a little gully between them we can go through, and we're going to thread that needle, and then that'll drop us right on top of Wayne Wonderland. And I would imagine it's probably a west arrival there. 1331. 7,800 feet pattern altitude. Boy, ortho scenery with roads and houses and cars and trees on top of it. It just changes the game completely. It makes it so much more immersive. It's unbelievable. Can't get over it. Makes VFR flying a dream, I can tell you that. So 7,800 feet. So we're going to come over the top. We're going to have to lose about 3,000 feet. We might spiral down. I was thinking about coming in over Capitol Reef. We still might. That'd add 4 minutes to our trip. Not a lot of time. We'll see how we feel when we get there. Okay, this should be Farron, Utah up here. That's a little reservoir that I can see. So that's on the right path. No airports around here, should we need help. The Wasatch Plateau off to our right. And we can just start to see the tips of 1000 Lake Mountain and Fish Lake Mountain in front of us. I'm creeping up again to 12,000 feet. I don't want to do that. Not a lot of MEDARs near here. Closest one for me is probably Hanksville. Let's see if we can pick it up. 120.0.
Hanksville Airport weather. Wind 350 at 5. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature +6. Dew point -9. Altimeter 3016.
16. Okay. That should be pretty close to what we have in Torrey, well, outside of Torrey at Wonderland. The lapse rate is going to be a little lower pressure because it's a little higher in altitude. But we'll find out. So, with us being over Farron, that means we are now 46 miles out. At our speed, that's about 15 minutes. You can start to see the colors starting to change, starting to get the red rock of the southern Utah desert. That's Castle Valley. Again, if you're wondering what's down there, the answer is not much. Far in the distance off to our right, we can see the La Salle Mountains. You can't see them, they're over the wing. But those would be where the Arches National Park is, and then you can just see over here, I'll turn so you can see them. In the distance, you can see the Henry Mountains. The Henrys are one of the last homes to one of the last herds of native buffalo in the United States, actually. All right, we have hypoxia now. We've crept up to 13,000 feet. That must be why I'm delirious. Nice view at Farron's Reservoir down there, though. All right, so we'll get back down to where we're supposed to be. We can follow this road really all the way. This road below us is going to go up over the top of the mountain pass. We're also going to cross I-70 down here. That's a pretty significant landmark. If we were doing pilotage, we would be looking for it, having passed Farron's Reservoir. Also, the next town coming up is Emery, Utah. I can see it right up here. I had a request to do some night flights. I'm going to do one tonight, I think, after the kids are asleep. I've got to do some night pattern work in the near future, so I'm thinking that would be a good chance to do that. Over the top of Thousand Lakes Mountain or over Capitol Reef. I think we'll go over the top of Thousand Lakes Mountain because I think the next flight we're going to fly down along Capitol Reef and land at Bullfrog Basin. I think that's our next hop. So we'll stay on the path. Here's Emery. We're right where we're supposed to be. And that road coming out of Emery is going to take us to I-70. And then it's going to take us up over the top. So we're flying the right heading. We've got the right course. Starting to see the Badlands that ultimately become north part of Capitol Reef National Park over here to our left. Starting to look like canyon country over there. And then that becomes the Badlands outside of Hanksville, and I got to tell you, those are Badlands. There is nothing out there. All right, back on our road. I gotta tell you, I could do this, flying around the west. A little bit of a headwind, not much. 187 at 3. we should be looking for I-70. Oh, I see it. There's the highway right there. Heads off that way. And we're going to follow this road all the way. Okay, so we're coming up in a new set of mountains now. You'll see I-70 here. We're going to cross over it in about a minute or two. We could make a right-hand turn and follow it. Ultimately, hook up, go to Vegas, take it all the way to, and its juncture is all the way to Los Angeles if we wanted. Farmland down there. Yeah. So this is Interstate 70. And it curves off that way. And then this over here is Fish Lake Mountain. Is this complex of mountains on this side. And that's Thousand Lake Mountain right there. And past it is Boulder Mountain. Boulder Mountain is a really remarkable place. We'll head down along there on one of these flights also. Okay, we're at 10-8. Let's try the Hanksville weather once more.
Airport weather. Wind 350 at 5. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 16. Dew point -9. Altimeter 3016.
Okay. That hasn't changed. Wayne Wonderland Unicom. Its CTAF frequency is 122.9. We would be ready for that. And now we can just do visual navigation and pilotage the rest of the way. Here's I-70. You can start to see the northern part of Capitol Reef National Park. Down there, those cliffs. It's part of the park up there called Valley of the Sun, Valley of the Moon. I'm sorry. Well, there's one part that's called the Valley of the Sun, and there's another called Valley of the Moon, if I remember correctly. I spent a lot of time in this national park. Never that northern part of it, though. I'll have to go do that sometime. And this little road in front of us is our road. And we're going to go right through that pass. When we come through that pass, we're going to have about 11 miles to the field, not much time. We'll get down to 7,800 feet. And be ready to go. There goes I-70. pretty to say it, but it's actually pretty. This is exactly how it looks. It's great. Look at that. That takes you down to Capitol Reef. With ultra high definition mesh, it'll be even better. Okay, there's our pass. And once we're through that pass, again, our runway is going to be, we're going to come in, we're going to land on 3-1. Let's get that heading bug ready to go. So we'll want to crosswind and then make for left traffic. That's what we'll do. Although I think arrivals into Wonderland are few and far between. One of the remarkable things about this part of the world is you've got alpine environments here, 11,000 feet, pine trees, bears, elk, freezing cold, 10 feet of snow in the winter. And right over here, you've got flat desert, totally different environment, totally different biomass. Side by side, it's really cool. Alright, so let's visualize that approach again. We're going to come in across, we're going to fly on the crosswind for 3-1 and then make left traffic in to 3-1. Okay. Got it. I'm going to start taking some power out of the airplane here so we don't have to manage quite as much. As long as we follow this road, we're going to be sticking with the lowest pass point of the pass. If you look over here, you can start to see how Capitol Reef National Park is starting to shape up. The red rock cliffs out there. And this road takes us right to the airport, actually. Okay, I can see the reservoirs down there. The Fremont River comes out of Fish Lake, which is over here on our right. If we flew up over that, we'd be able to see it, but we're not going that way. Maybe on the return leg to Salt Lake City. Now we can start to lose some altitude, because we do have about 3,000 feet to lose. Be ready for up and down drafts here. About 10 miles out, so we'd make a call, tell them that we're north of field 9,700, that we're going to enter on the crosswind for 3-1, and we're making a full stop. One reservoir, there's the other reservoir. Got mountain peaks above us to our left. The Tushar Mountains out that way. Okay, and here's the little valley. You've got Fremont, Loa, Lyman, Bicknell, all right in a row. Come around the corner, you got Torrey, and then you're in Capitol Reef National Park. There's the reservoir. Managing the energy pretty well. We're down to 128 knots. 10,000 feet. And climbing a little bit. We don't want to be doing that. I held our descent because we were getting a little close to the ground. Okay, there's the town of Fremont. There's the town of Loa. Bicknell's going to be right there, and our airport's going to be right in between them. Well, that's going to be Lyman right there. If that's Loa, that's Lyman. Yeah, there's Fremont. There's Loa. There's Lyman. Bicknell is going to be this way. Yep, there's the airport. Okay. I think I see the airport. It's not a very big airport. There's the Fremont. Yeah. Bicknell. Yeah, there's the airport. We're right where we're supposed to be. Good. Actually, I had Lyman confused for Bicknell. This is Lyman here. That's Bicknell down there, and I've driven this road a million times, and I should know that. Okay. Coming across the crosswind. There's our airport. We're actually a little further out than I'd like. We're right where somebody would be climbing out. So I should have been a little closer to the numbers, but you would tell them that we're entering on the downwind. Oops, bumped the camera. We're entering on the downwind. And we will be at pattern altitude by the time we get to the downwind leg. I'm going to come in at 7,800, right? Okay, we're at 8.5. Our speed's looking good. All right, joining the downwind. Coming up to 7,800 feet. Widen out a little bit, but we've got terrain over here, so I don't want to do that too much. Okay, we're at our pattern altitude. We can go first flaps. Fuel pump, landing lights, gear down. didn't make the little buildings around the airport. I'll go ahead and make those. In the next release of the software. Some terrain here we want to be mindful of. Got 3 in the green. That's about 15-20 seconds. I think we're going to turn straight to the numbers here today. There's the road to Torrey. And that's actually Bicknell right down there. Next flaps. We were a little tight, but that's okay. We don't really have much of a crosswind, so we'll just come right back to that runway. In the green. Over the fence. We're going to land a little long, but we've got plenty of distance. Our speed's good. 79, touchdown speed. Not quite on the center line. Little float, must be a Piper. There we go. Followed by a bit of a cruncher. One of the things that's interesting for me in the sim is getting used to the difference in not just the speed, because this airplane just moves faster than, frankly, certainly the one I fly in the real world by quite a bit, but also coming into just different runways at different sizes and different lengths. It helps you figure out your sight pictures. There's no turnaround point here, so we just have to do this the old-fashioned way. All right, and there's Boulder Mountain in front of us. Yeah, I didn't manage the energy quite as well there as I have in the Saratoga so far. I have to keep remembering a bit wider downwind leg and a bit longer on the downwind leg. And my speed was fine. I was 82 as I came over the fence, and landing speed is 79, so that was right where it was supposed to be. So pitch and power were about right, but I came in hot and I had to kill the power and lose some altitude. Some of that also was that terrain that was up there. I think that's one of the things for me that's valuable with this, is just trying to go through those processes of making those decisions. The airport turned out well. I was saying on downwind leg, there's some, if you look, I could see in the ortho scenery, there's some buildings by the hangar and stuff that weren't there in just the mesh. So I'll add them and re-upload the airport. So from here we can fish the Fremont River. We can go up and fish the many lakes full of cutthroat up on top of Boulder Mountain there. That's a massive landmass. It's got a big basalt lava cap on top of it too. It never erupted as a volcano, but it kind of oozed lava all over itself millions of years ago. And we can get to Capitol Reef National Park easily from here. It's about a 15-minute drive, 20-minute drive. And we can enjoy the great little town of Torrey, Utah. All right, so that was fun. I've been looking forward to that one. I'm looking forward to just flying over Utah for a while. Stomping grounds. This is one of my favorite places in the world, and to have it be so realistic with the ortho scenery is just really special. If you like stuff like this, and I do. I'm going to keep making airports along the way, as we have fields that are lacking in 3D scenery at the gateway. I'll make them and upload them. I'm going to try to get a lot of strips in Utah done. In terms of the point-to-point flights, we're probably going to spend the next little while in Utah. Shorter flights, place-to-place, seeing scenery. I couldn't quite see this windsock from the downwind leg, but if I had seen it, I would have seen that we were landing in a bit of a crosswind. We picked the right runway though. No, we landed with a tailwind. That's why we came in hot. Now that I see it, well, there you go. That's the thing about places like this. You don't ever really know for sure what you're doing. All right, we got a porta potty over here. We got a shed. We've got some places to park the airplane. Let's pick one of them. This one looks good. All right, welcome to Wayne Wonderland. Wayne Wonderland, named for Wayne County, Utah, by the way. Yep, we landed with a tailwind. That's why we came in hot. Mystery solved. Thanks for watching on the glide slope. I hope you enjoy it. I sure do. If you have questions about the sim, you can check them at and get answers at www.ontheglideslope.net. All kinds of things there in terms of the equipment that I use, the makeup of this PC and the sim itself, some basic schematics and the rest. And I'll keep posting more videos. So thanks for input and feedback. Thanks for watching, and I hope you're liking flying around virtual Utah with me. And happy flights, virtual and real. And I'll see you in the next edition of On the Glide Slope. Thanks.